Hag Sameach to all of you, a happy Passover. For those of you, we see people joining us from near and far, from San Diego, throughout our country, throughout the world. We are delighted to have you with us. I'm Rabbi Jason Navarez, joined here with me by my wonderful colleagues, Rabbi Cantor Arlene Bernstein, Rabbi Jeremy Gimbel, our respective families who are here with us, your respective families, our other members of our staff, including Eileen Tatro, our program director, and many others who are joining us here. Our second night of Passover is truly joyous. We are celebrating together. We have over 150 family units that are joining us today from all over the world, and we are so excited to have you all with us. We have a lot in store for this evening to make this celebration of the Yetziat Mitzrayim, of the Exodus from Egypt, truly wonderful and inspiring. So for all of you, whether you are virtual, you're surrounded by family, wherever you are, we are welcoming you. And so we want you to take a moment to, I'm gonna ask you, Eileen's gonna not be happy with me, but I'm gonna ask you if you can to unmute for a moment to say Chag Sameach to everyone on the virtual community screen. And then we'll take a moment and then we'll come back together. So unmute yourself, come say Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Looks like Grandma Joyce right there.
Chag Sameach.
Hey, Judy.
I hear odd people on stage. Oh, there's folks in my husband.
Beautiful. And okay, we're going to come back together. We're going to unmute ourselves and we're going to remute ourselves. And so we'll do that in a moment. And we are so happy that you're all here. This time is an interesting time in not only in our Jewish calendar, where we are thinking about the idea of communal renewal and introspection around it, but we're also thinking about the ways in which we've been trapped in those Mitzrayim, in those narrow straits. And here we are with one another. One of the benefits, being virtually surrounded and connected to one another in this moment. And so we have so much to sing about and to celebrate this evening. Some of us may have experienced loss this past year. Others may have worked through trying to figure out how to live a new normal. And so today is about celebrating as community, about finding time to be with one another and recalling this most ancient of our traditions. And so the virtual Seder that we're about to experience this evening, you will find all of our shared songs, and our liturgy will be on the screen for you. So there's no need to have any kind of written material. If you're just new and you're joining us from anywhere and you don't know that, feel free, no worries. We have everything for you virtually on the screen. And so I'm going to ask, as we welcome this evening, we're going to turn to the first of from our Passover Haggadah, and we're going to share our welcome message. 300 years ago, a ship called the Mayflower set sail to the New World. This was a great event in the history of England. Yet I wonder if there is one Englishman who knows at what time the ship set sail. Do the English know how many people embarked on this voyage? What quality of bread do they eat? Yet more than 3,300 years ago, before the Mayflower set sail, the Jews left Egypt. Every Jew in the world, even in America or Soviet Russia, knows on exactly what date they left, the 15th of the month of Nisan. Everyone knows what kind of bread the Jews ate, matzah. Even today, the Jews worldwide eat matzah on the 15th of Nisan. They retell the story of the Exodus and all the troubles Jews have endured since being exiled, saying, this year slaves, next year free. This year here, next year in Jerusalem, in Sion, in Eretz Yisrael. That is the nature of the Jews. And so I'm going to invite my wife, Nicole, is going to bring us all together, invite you to take a moment to gather your candles if you have them at home, as we're going to show and share the blessing, I believe. Am I in the frame here? Just want to make sure we're spotlighted. And we'll get it. Okay, I'll get you down. Okay, let's see. Yeah, okay. Because we have to keep the candles on. Okay. Okay, all right. So we're gonna light our Yom Tov candles.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Yom Tov.
Amen. And I'm going to ask that if you are surrounded by any individuals, that we're going to offer an opportunity to bless one another. And we'll be joined by my colleagues to share in this wonderful blessing. So I invite you, if you can, in your homes, if you're next to someone, place your hands upon their heads or their shoulders, whatever is comfortable. And we're going to offer you this blessing as Rabbi Bernstein leads us off.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May you all be blessed with kindness and grace.
Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. May God's presence always be with you, granting you health, joy, love, and always, always the blessing of peace. Amen. And since even though we are on the second night of our Chag of Passover, this is the first time that we're gathering this year on Passover as a community. It's my family's first Passover with all of you. Lots of Shechianu moments. So let's join together as we sing together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'aliyanu v'yimanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'aliyanu v'yimanu v'higiyanu b'zman hazeh.
As you so well know, Seder means order. And here in front of you is a beautiful rendition of the Seder. And what we do is we use a Babylonian tune, an ancient melody, to remind us of how we run our Seder. And if you know the melody, please join me. Kadesh urchatz karpas yachatz Magid rochza motzi matzah marur kurech shulchan orech tzafon And as you see, we begin with Kadesh. Hineni muchan umzuman l'kayem mitzvat kos rishon shel arba kosot. Here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of the first cup of wine and to declare this whole evening to telling the story of miracles and wonders that were performed for our ancestors in Egypt on the night of the 15th of the month of Nisan, more than 3,200 years ago. This is what the Torah commands us. Remember the day of your exodus from Egypt. So if you will each pour yourself a cup of wine and raise it, and we join together in the traditional nusach, the sound that makes Pesach different. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו, ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה, מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון. את יום חג המצות הזה, זמן חירותנו, מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ומועדי קודשך, בשמחה ובששון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש ישראל והזמנים. לחיים. Our next step after, for this evening, our next step is urchatz. It is the washing of the hands. This bowl and cup from Jerusalem. And what do? We wash our hands. We pour the water over 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, without a blessing. Why? This makes for the asking of questions and the thinking of questions that might come up for us on this Seder night.
Tov
We turn to karpas. We dip a vegetable into salt water. So grab yourself a green vegetable. Perhaps you have some celery or some parsley. We dip and we join together in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'adamah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the earth. Yachatz, we break the middle matzah into two pieces. We wrap and set aside the larger pieces, the afikomen, the dessert matzah, to be eaten at the end of the meal. The smaller piece of matzah is returned to its place with the other two. So I'll take our middle matzah. Ooh.
Fresh.
We'll take the larger one and put it in this beautiful afikomen wrapper, and we will hide it for later. We raise our matzot, and we say, Halach ma'anya di achalu ahavtana ba'ara di Mitzrayim. This is the bread of affliction, which our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. Let all those who are hungry come and eat with us. Let all those who are in need come and share our meal. This year we are here. Next year may we all be in the land of Israel. This year we are still slaves. Next year may we all be free.
Yeah.
We get to that part in our Seder where we get to the Magid. The Magid is our telling or our retelling. And so we ask questions. Why is this night different from all other nights? So our first two will be asked by the lady right here, by Sophie. And then we have the Gimbalim are going to ask our third and fourth questions this evening.
שבחו הלילות אנוכלים חמץ ומצה חמץ ומצה הלילה הזה כולו מצה הלילה הזה כולו מצה שבחו הלילות אנוכלים שאר ירקות הלילה הזה מרור הלילה הזה מרור
שבכל הלילות אין אנו משבילים אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה שטף העמים. הלילה הזה שטף העמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין משפיעים ובין מסובים.
הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים. הלילה הזה כולנו מסובים.
In the Magid, in the telling, we learn of first the journey out of slavery. Avadim chayinu, we were told. Avadim chayinu, ata b'nei chorim. And then, and now we're free. And so we join together. Avadim chayinu, chayinu, ata b'nei chorim, b'nei chorim.
When Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Lord, press so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Now go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Thus said the Lord, but Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Come on, let my people go. Come on, go down, Moses. Come on, let it go down in Egypt land. Tell the Pharaoh to let my people go.
Thank you, Andy and Heidi. Thanks for joining us at the new nightclub, Four Cups. Make sure you tip your waiters. They work hard for the matzah.
Hey, thanks. It's a labor of love.
This night is different from all other nights because once we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt, but Adonai, our God, took us out with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. If Adonai had not brought our ancestors out of Egypt, then we and our children and our children's children would still be slaves in the land of Egypt. Even if we know the story well and have told it many times, the more we tell it in great detail, the more we are to be praised. Baruch hamakom, baruch hu. Baruch shenatan Torah le'amo Yisrael. Baruch hu. Together, praise be God who is everywhere. Praise be God. Praise be God who gave the Torah to the people of Israel. Praise be God. The Torah alludes to four children, one wise or thoughtful, one wicked or rebellious, one simple or innocent, and one who does not know how to ask. The wise or thoughtful child might ask, what is the meaning of the laws and rules which Adonai our God has commanded us? We should explain to this child in great detail all the laws and customs of Passover. The wicked or rebellious child might ask, What does the service mean to you? This child emphasizes the meaning of the Seder to you and not to the child's own self. Since the child excludes themselves from the community and rejects a major principle of faith, you should provide a sharp answer. It is because of what Adonai did for me when I went free from Egypt. Me, and not that child. Had that child been there, he or she would not have been redeemed. Curiously enough, we answer the Rasha the same way as the one who does not know enough to ask. So perhaps the wicked child is acting out in rebellion and doesn't know how to ask the right questions. We still answer kindly. The simple or innocent child might ask, what does all this mean? We should answer, with a mighty hand, God freed the Jewish people from Egypt, from the house of bondage. As for the child who does not know how to ask, you should prompt the child. The Torah says, you shall teach your child on that day. In other words, don't wait for the child to take the initiative. Start the story, your story, and hopefully this silent child will listen, absorb, and identify with you. It is because of what Adonai did for me when I went free from Egypt.
In addition to those of the Magi, those 4 children, we have another interpretation, one that's about teaching the next generation. So what does the activist child ask? The Torah tells me, justice, justice shall you pursue, but how can I pursue? The Torah tells empower her always to seek pathways to advocate for the vulnerable. As Proverb teaches, speak up for the mute, for the rights of the unfortunate, speak up, judge righteously, champion the poor and the needy. What does the skeptical child ask? How can I solve problems of such enormity? Encourage him by explaining that he need not solve the problems, but he must only do what he is capable of doing. As we read in Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers, it is not your responsibility to complete the work, but neither are you free to desist from it. What does the indifferent child say? It is not my responsibility. Persuade her the responsibility cannot be shrinked. As the great Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel writes, the opposite of good is not evil. The opposite of good is indifference. In a free society where terrible wrongs exist, some are guilty, but all are responsible. And the uninformed child who does not know how to ask, prompt him to see himself as an inheritor of our people's legacy. As it says in Deuteronomy, you must befriend the strangers, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. At this season of liberation, this man chirutenu, let us work towards liberation of all peoples, and let us respond to our children's questions with action, with good deeds, and with justice. Amen.
At the beginning, our ancestors worshiped the gods of the lands beyond the Euphrates River. Then God drew Abraham and Sarah close and brought them to Canaan to God's service. Tonight, we tell the story of an ancient relationship between God and our people. Tonight, we tell the story of a link that is renewed in every generation. Blessed is the one who keeps this promise to the people Israel. Servitude to others, even if it lasts 400 years, will come to an end. God is the ultimate judge. Israel will survive enriched. Long ago, Adonai promised Abraham and Sarah that their children would be a great people. It is this promise that has given our ancestors courage and hope. Vehi she'amda lavotenu velanu. Vehi she'amda lavotenu velanu. This promise has stood for our parents and for us in good stead. For not just one enemy has stood against us to wipe us out, but in every generation there have been those who have stood against us to wipe us out. Yet the Holy One, blessed is God, keeps on saving us from their hands. Tonight's script is the telling of our national autobiography as wandering Jews. We go from migration down to exploitation, then up from rags to riches, and finally to homecoming. The text we use was once recited by heart by every Jew when bringing first fruits of the homeland to the temple. Today, I want to tell Adonai our God how I have come to be in the land Adonai promised our ancestors to give us. My ancestor was a wandering Aramean. He descended to Egypt and resided there in small numbers. He became a nation, great, powerful, and numerous. Then the Egyptians treated us badly. They persecuted us and subjected us to hard labor. We cried out to Adonai, the God of our ancestors. God heard our voice. God saw our persecution, our labor, and our oppression. God took us out of Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, with awesome power, signs, and wonders. Then God brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land of milk and honey. It's told that we are to reimagine the Magi, the story of the Seder. And 21 years ago, in the depths of despair and grief of having just lost our grandfather, my sister, her friend from EIE, the Semester in Israel program, and I wrote the Passover story in secular song. So I hope you will all join us. A long, long time ago, in the land of Egypt, where the Israelites were Pharaoh's slaves, Pharaoh said Hebrew boys should die, and the Jewish mothers began to cry. But Yocheved refused to throw her boy away. She and Miriam put him in the Nile, where he was found after a while. Pharaoh's daughters saved him. In the palace his mother raised him. Since from the water was where he came, they decided Moses was his name. And he grew up with the morals of a Jew. One day, growing up in Pharaoh's palace, Moses witnessed an Egyptian beating a Jewish slave. Enraged by this action, Moses did what any of us would have done. He broke into song. There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a whip over there, beating a slave like he just don't care. I'm singing, stop Egypt, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going round. In a fit of anger, Moses struck down the taskmaster and fled to the desert, where he tended sheep for a while. Then, one day, something a little bizarre happened. Suddenly, God came to me in a flaming tree, said, I want my people to be free. Go to Pharaoh, speak for me. Go to Pharaoh, speak for me. So Moses went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go. Yeah, Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go. Yeah. Well, a burning bush told me the other day that I should go to Egypt and say, it's time to let our people be free. So listen to God if you won't listen to me. Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go. Yeah. Pharaoh, whoa, baby, let my people go. Yeah. Pharaoh wouldn't listen to Moses' plea. Thus, the plagues. Blood, lights, peas, cattle, seeds, boil, hail, locusts, blood, rock, lights, peas, cattle, seeds, boil, hail,
So how do you follow that? I don't even know how to follow that.
Oh, there's more.
Wait, there's more.
Oh, I know. There's always more. So we know traditionally, as Rabbi Gimel reminded us so beautifully, that we have 10 plagues. And what we do is we take our pinky finger and we take every time, we take a little bit and place it on our plate. And I am going to invite you this year, in addition, if you would like to, we're going to share some additional plagues after, perhaps this year. And you can also in the chat, perhaps put some plagues that you're thinking about this year that have been swirling around us. So we join together. Dam, blood, Sifardea, Pinim, lice, Arov, beast, Dever, cattle disease, Shechin, boils, Barad, hail, Arbe, locusts, Choshech, darkness, Makat Bechorot, death of the firstborn. And I'll invite my family to share any other plagues they're thinking of. COVID-19. Racism.
Inequity. Anti-Semitism.
Anti-Semitism.
Over-attachment to being busy.
See some PTSD. Okay, so,
From being a New Yorker.
no, it says no. Civil unrest. Hatred. Guns. Quarantine fatigue. Voter suppression. Mental illness. So many we have to reflect on at this time. And so you can keep writing if you'd like, and we're going to continue with our Magid. Rabbi.
We'll continue on. At first, Pharaoh would let the Israelites go, but then God hardened his heart. So Pharaoh would change his mind every time. All through the 9 plagues. Enter the 10th plague, death of the firstborn. This one put Pharaoh over the top. Our doors, oh, no, I'm unmuted, okay. Our doors are crossed with blood. God spared our sons. We're out of here. We're moving our buns. But we don't have buns. They didn't have time to rise. We're leaving en route to Canaan. Don't think that we'll be back again. Hey Jews, it's time to go. So the Jews left with matzah in hand from Egypt to the promised land, got to a sea they couldn't cross. Moses raised his hand up to the
Boss.
Pharaoh's army was close behind, and hey, this brings a song to mind. Been working so hard, time to make these waters part. 400 years busting our backs, finally God's cutting us some slack. The sea is splitting, tonight we'll get out of this town. The sea is splitting, we'll cross the sea and not drown. Tonight we're gonna be free, we crossing the Red Sea. Miriam, break out the cymbals and drums. Well sung, everyone. at this point in the Seder, we usually get to Dayenu. And sure enough, we are there. But this has been a particularly special year for all of us. There have been so many moments where we have thought, Dayenu, this would have been enough. And then we discovered that instead of feeling like we didn't have enough, that instead we should feel grateful for what we do have. How many times have we had celebrated holidays in this way over the last year and thought, yeah, even though we were in different places, it really felt like Seder. It really felt like Rosh Hashanah. It really felt like the holidays together. So in a moment, Eileen is going to break us all up into breakout rooms, about 5 or 6 screens per breakout room. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to think and discuss for about 5 minutes, what would your Dayenu verses be? In the year 2021, what are your verses of Dayenu? And we're going to ask one person from each group, and you can assign who that's going to be, to private message those to Rabbi Navarez. Make sure you're sending it to the Rabbi Jason Navarez one and not the Navarez family one. And when we come back together, Rabbi Navarez is going to share some of our submissions. So through the magic that is almost as magical as the signs and wonders that we saw in Egypt, Eileen is going to break us up into groups. One more time, we're going to be thinking about and writing our own Dayenu verses. So the verses of Dayenu read, for example, had Adonai brought us out of Egypt, but not divided the sea for us, Dayenu, that would have been enough. Had Adonai punished the Egyptians and destroyed their idols, Dayenu, that would have been enough. Had Adonai brought us to the land of Israel and built the holy temple, Dayenu, that would have been enough. For all of these things that perhaps a year ago we would have said that wasn't enough, but now that we've experienced this year together, what are the things that you're thinking of that you can say, Dayenu, it would have been enough if we only had this? All right.
So I think some of you had logged on after we had started the breakout room. So let me see if I can reassign you. One moment. Welcome back, everyone. The rooms are closing now, so everyone will be back on in just a moment.
Okay, so we realized that we can't always share, that you couldn't share with me if you were in a group. So if you want to, now you can. You can private message me. And I'm going to share some that came out of the group that I was in. Dayenu, It would have been enough if I hadn't found a congregation. Dayenu, being with family. Dayenu, vaccination. I'm going to go the other way. One death from COVID would have been enough, Dayenu. God put me in such a safe place during this time, Dayenu. To get COVID and recover, Dayenu. We have the web, the interwebs, so we can connect, Dayenu. We connect the ability to reconnect with my Jewish self, Dayenu. Dayenu for Friday night at Beth Israel, and for the people we just met, Dayenu. Dayenu.
We just had two grandsons.
Because we just had two, because we're on two divine.
For new
Okay, now,
grandsons.
two new grandsons, Dayenu. Give me 1 second, just going through this list. Dayenu.
Out-of-state tuition.
They would have been out-of-state tuition, Dayenu, Wi-Fi, Dayenu, opportunity to work at home, Zoom, golf courses to be open, Dayenu. Joining people from around the world, ability to connect with others, Dayenu. Dayenu, we could have had the high holiness together physically, Dayenu. It would have been enough if people just became aware of social iniquities. Dayenu, food, TP, delivery system, technology, the ability to donate more than we might have, Dayenu. It would have been enough if we had stayed out of the hospital and survived, Dayenu. Dayenu for a new life, miracle of Zoom. Know who your friends are through true friends are through adversity. We adapted, Dayenu. Health, Dayenu. If we celebrated Simchat Torah in the synagogue, Dayenu. If we could have been scared from COVID, that would have been enough. If I had been healthy but couldn't be with my family enough or my friends. Community, health, reality, wellness, truth. Alive and healthy, Dayenu. That we are alive and healthy, enjoying the beauty of nature and peace it brings, Dayenu. The ability to walk and read, Dayenu. Wow. These are beautiful, and I hope that you will hold them in your hearts as we move together. We're going to sing now a little bit of Dayenu because we're going to hold all those Dayenus together. So we're going to join. Ilu hotzi hotzi ani hotzi ani Mitzvah hotzi ani Mitzvah Join us, Dayenu.
We come to the part of our Seder that says Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. Rabbi Gamliel used to say, anyone who does not expound upon these three symbols has not fulfilled the obligation of observing the Passover Seder. And these are the three, Pesach, Matzah, and Maror. So I have to pick this up, so I just want to show you. Our ancestors ate the Pesach, the Passover sacrifice, in the days of the temple. Why? The Pesach reminds us that they had only one Pasach, passed over the houses of our ancestors in Egypt. Our Torah teaches this is the Passover sacrifice, for God passed over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt and destroyed Egypt, but spared our houses, and the people bowed low in homage. Our ancestors sacrificed a lamb and smeared its blood on their doorpost so that the homes and their lives might be spared. This is the broken middle matzah. Tonight we eat matzah. Why? Our Torah teaches, and they baked unleavened cakes of the dough that they had taken out of Egypt, since they had been driven out of Egypt and could not delay, nor had they prepared any provisions for themselves. God was revealed to our ancestors, and they tasted redemption even before their dough had risen. Matzah is the bread of wandering, the bridge between our sojourn into the land of enslavement and the land of freedom. Maror. Tonight we eat maror. Why? Our Torah teaches they made life bitter for them with harsh labor in mortar and in bricks, and with all sorts of harsh slavery in the field. The Egyptians embittered our ancestors' lives in Egypt. Cruelty, violence, and oppression plague every human society, darken our world, embitter our lives, and challenge us to raise our voices in the name of justice. I used to say there's one part of the service that's so important. Now I think every part of the service is really important. And we say, B'chol dor vador, chayavim anu lirot et atzmeinu, ki'ilu yatsa mimitzrayim. In every generation, each of us must see ourselves as if we ourselves came out of Egypt, as it is written, and you shall tell your children on that day, saying, this is what God did for me when I came out of Egypt. The Holy One who is blessed did not redeem only our ancestors, but God delivered us as well. As it is said, God redeemed us from that place in order to bring us out and to give us the land that God promised to our ancestors. So we sing B'chol dor vador, and in this version, we say in the plural, Chayavim anu lirot. This is written by Debbie Friedman. B'chol dor vador, Chayavim anu lirot, et atzmeinu keilu. B'chol dor vador, Chayavim anu lirot, et atzmeinu keilu. Keilu yatzanu, keilu yatzanu, keilu yatzanu mimitzrayim. Keilu yatzanu, keilu yatzanu, keilu yatzanu mimitzrayim.
As we come to the next part of our service, we are at Hallel, in which we hold on to different psalms that bring us through this time. And so the psalm here, the time has come to thank, sing, praise, glorify, exalt, bless, raise up, and celebrate the one who did wonders for our ancestors and for us. God took us out of slavery and brought us to freedom. From despair, God brought us to life. From mourning, God brought us to celebration. From darkness, God brought us to great light. From enslavement, God brought us to redemption. And so we sing a new song to God. Hallelujah. In Psalm 114, we invite you, the first part we sing together, and then we're going to join in different parts. So I'll say, and then you can repeat. Beseit Yisrael mi Mitzrayim, Bet Yaakov me'am loez, Hayta Yehuda likdosho, Yisrael am shlotav, Hayam rav ayanos, Hayarden yisov leacho, Hecharim raktu chelim, Kevaot kivnei tzon, Malecha hayam, Kitanos, Hayarden, Tisov leacho, Heharim, Tikedu chelim, Givaot, Kivnei tzon, Melifnei Adon, Chulei Aretz, Melifnei Elohai Yaakov, Harochvi Tator, Agamayim, Chalamish, Lamanamomayim. When Israel went forth, the house of Jacob, from a people speaking barbarian, Judah became the place from which God's holiness went forth, Israel, the place where God's sovereignty was displayed.
We conclude the telling of the story, the Magid section, by drinking the second cup of wine, this wine of redemption. Hineni muchan umzuman l'kayem mitzvat kos sheni shel arba kosot. Please join me. Here I am, ready to perform the mitzvah of the second of the 4 cups, the cup of redemption. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who redeemed us and redeemed our ancestors from Egypt, and who brought us to this night to eat matzah and maror. Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, may you bring us in peace to future holidays. We will thank you for our redemption. Blessed are you, the Redeemer of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. We are now ready to wash for real. We are ready to wash our hands and say a blessing. I'll give you a moment if you want to get up and to go wash your hands. I'm going to use the washing cup that I had from before, and we will wait a moment. This prayer with the blessing enables us to be ready to eat. So I actually can't see if anybody is coming back to their seats or if we are ready.
We have a 1-minute warning in the chat. Someone said they'll be back in 1 minute.
Okay. Got it. Okay, well, it's not that we're trying to be rude. We are just trying to move life along here for our Seder. So I'm going to pour slowly. And please join me in the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, Vitzivanu al netilat yadayim. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot and commands us to wash our hands.
Next slide, please. Blake got that 1 minute hand washing after all.
Okay, that's good. So we are getting ready to eat and we are prepared in different ways. Please join me. Hineni muchan umzuman lekayem mitzvat achilat matzah. Here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of eating matzah. So first we say the prayer for bread and then for matzah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ala hilat matzah. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. And blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot and commands us to eat matzah. Maror, the bitter herb. So pick up your bitter herb. Some of you have a little bit of, this might be for you, bitter herb. Some of you might have the white horseradish root. We join together. Hineni muchan umzuman lekayem mitzvat achilat maror. Here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of eating maror. Together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat maror. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot and commands us to eat maror. On Passover, in the days of the temple in Jerusalem, Rabbi Hillel would eat a sandwich made of the Pesach, the lamb offering, matzah, and maror. Now we do not bring sacrifice to the temple, so our sandwich is made only with matzah and maror. So we take our matzah, we make a sandwich out of it, we put in some maror, and we also use the charoset, and we make what's called the Hillel sandwich. The charoset, the sweet apples and nuts mix, or however you mix. Every Jewish community has something different. And we eat our sandwich without a blessing, which leaves us prepared for Shulchan Arech, our set meal. B'te'avon, we hope you enjoy your meal.
So welcome back, everybody. We know some people may still be eating. That's totally fine, but we want to remain respectful to the timeframes that we laid out when advertising and putting the word out. So we are here. We are entering. If we can have the screen up, that would be wonderful. And we are entering into after the Shulchan Aruch. We are entering into what we call the tzafun and the hunt for the afikomen. Now, in my house, the afikomen hunt went embarrassingly painful for our children. It took them about an hour plus to find it. It took them an hour. Tonight, it will be an ultimate challenge. But because Saba is here, the afikomen prize is that much greater. So we'll see how tonight goes. Yes. So we are going to, in a moment, as soon as we get the screen up and Rabbi Gimel puts our screen up, we're going to begin our blessings after our meal. So we're going to leave the afikomen hunt to your own time frame and to allow you to do that. And then we are here in as we call this, our benching and our time to say our blessings. So the areas that are indented, if you're new to what we call the Birkat Hamazon, we bless meals before and after, you can join us in the indented spaces. So we'd love for you to be part. Chavarai Nevarech.
Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach mi'ata v'ad olam.
Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach mi'ata v'ad olam. Yeshut Chavarai Nevarech Eloheinu shalachanu mishalo. Baruch Hashem Baruch Hashem mishalo u'tuvo chayinu. Baruch Hu Rok Shemo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hazan et haolam kulo betuvo v'chein b'chesed u'rachamim. Switch the screen. Unoten lehem l'kol basar ki le'olam hasdo u'tuvo hagadol Tamil Salanu, they are Salanu, Mazon, they are Lombard, Barbur Shimo Hagado, Kirazanu Barnes Lako, Umeti Lako, Umethi Mazon, Lecho Bertava, Sherbara, Baruch atah Adonai. So as we bless the wonderful bounty of food that we ate, we are now in our third cup. So I invite you to take some douche wine or grape juice or whatever you have at your disposal. Fill your cups. Hinene muchan umzuman nekayem midvat kos shlishi shel arba kosot. Which is, here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of the third cup of wine, which concludes this Pesach meal. So we hold our glasses up high and we say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri ha'olam l'chaim.
We place a cup in the middle of our tables. This cup is for Eliyahu Hanavi, Elijah the prophet. We open our front door to greet our honored guest and invite him to join our Seder. We pray that he will return to us. He will return to us, bringing a time of peace and freedom. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Atishbi. Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimera ve'amenu, turn to the words of Hallel. We'll ask you all to join along, if nothing else, for the chorus. Hallelujah, 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu likro et Hallel. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Praise Adonai. Great is God's love, now and always. Everyone say hallelujah. Praise Adonai. Great is God's love, now and always. Everyone say hallelujah. Olu Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdov. Yomana Yisrael, ki le'olam chasdov. Yomru navet Aharon, ki le'olam chasdov. Yomru na yireh Adonai, ki le'olam chasdov. May the ones who enter be forever blessed in God's name. We bless you from the house of Adonai. Ki le'olam chasdov. Hallelujah, hallelujah, Yisrael, ki le'olam chasdov. Yomru navet Aharon, ki le'olam chasdov. Yomru na yireh Adonai, ki le'olam chasdov. Let's all sing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah,
In celebration of the end of Hallel, we say Hineni mucham umzuman lekayem mitzvat kos revi'i shel arba kosot. Here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of the fourth cup of wine, which concludes the Hallel songs of thanks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. We come to the section of our service which is called the counting of the Omer, and you see a sheaf of Omer, a sheaf of wheat. On the second night of Pesach, we begin counting the 50 days from the Exodus to Sinai, from Pesach, the harvest of barley, until Shavuot, the harvest of wheat. Traditionally, the rabbis interpret the counting as reflecting Israel's eager anticipation of the giving of Torah at Sinai on Shavuot. The physical liberation is not an end in itself, but must be wedded to a life of values and responsibilities. We rise and count the first day of the Omer, and for ourselves, it's a time for us from Passover to Shavuot to think about what we need to take care of in order for us to think about receiving Torah. Hineni mukhan umzuman lekayim mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. Here I am ready to perform the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer hayom yom echad laomer. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who makes us holy with mitzvot and commands us to count the Omer. Today is the first day of the Omer.
We begin to conclude our Seder with our classic songs. Let's join together. Adirhu, Adirhu, Yivnei Veito Bekarov, Bimheira, Bimheira, V'yameinu Bekarov, El B'nei, B'nei Veitcha Bekarov, Bachor hu, Gadol hu, Dagul hu, Yivnei Veitcha Bekarov, Bimheira, Bimheira, V'yameinu Bekarov, El B'nei Veitcha Bekarov, Hadur hu, Vatik hu, Zakai hu, Chasid hu, Yivnei Veito Bekarov, Bimheira, Bimheira, V'yameinu Bekarov, El B'nei Veitcha Bekarov. Echad miyodea, don't worry, we're not doing all of the verses back to front. We'll do 4 altogether, and then we'll skip to the end and do the rest. So let's join together. Echad miyodea, Echad miyodea. Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uba'aretz, Shnayim miyodea, Shnayim ani yodea, Shnei luchot habrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uba'aretz, Shlosha mi yodea, Shlosha ani yodea, Shlosha avot, Arba luchot habrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim haaretz, Arba mi yodea, Arba ani yodea, Arba imahot, Shlosha avot, Shnei luchot habrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Shebashamayim uba'aretz, Shlosha asar mi yodea, Shlosha asar ani yodea, Shlosha asar midaya, 12 שבטיה, 11 כוכביה, 10 דברי, Tisha Yemei Shmona Yemei Mila, Shiva Yemei Shavta, Shivsha Shilei Mishnah, Chamisha Chumshei Torah, Arba Imachot, Shlosha Avot, Shnei Luchot Habrit, Echad Eloheinu, 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 Sheba Shamayim Uva'aretz. Now, usually for Chad Gadya, we would have the words up, but instead of that, we're going to add a couple spotlights here. So, playing the characters of the kid goat, we have the Hobbenstocks.
They're coming. One sec.
Okay, great. For the cat and dog, members of the Navarez family. The stick, Rich. The fire, the Caspi family. The water, the Rubens. Yeah, the Rubens. The ox, Ava and Michael. The butcher, Heinz.
People are saying hi to each other.
And as Haman 19, I will be playing the Angel of Death. And all together, we will all be the Holy One. So, we join together. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came a cat that ate the kid.
Rabbi Navarez is the cat.
No.
Give me out.
Of a fire.
Come into the screen.
We don't have the lyrics.
Okay, then came the cat that ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came a dog that bit the cat. There are a lot of dogs and cats in that house.
No idea.
I ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya. Then came a stick.
The stick.
That beat the dog.
Wolf.
That bit the cat.
Meow.
That ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came a fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat.
Meow.
And ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came water. That put out the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came an ox that drank the water. Put out the fire. That burned the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the kid. My father bought for 2 zuzim. Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya. Then came a butcher. That slaughtered the ox. That drank the water. that burnt the stick, that beat the dog, bit the cat, that ate the kid. My father bought for two, Susie. God, God, Then came the angel of death. I'm Haman 19. The butcher that slaughtered the ox, drank the water, put out the fire, that burned the stick, that beat the dog, bit the cat, that ate the kid. My father bought for two, Susie. God, and came the Holy One. That slew the angel of death. I'm Haman 19. I killed the butcher. That slaughtered the ox. That drank the water. That put out the fire. That burnt the stick. That beat the dog. That bit the cat. That ate the kid. My father bought for two. Thank you to all of our participants. Now we're gonna mute you.
That was truly a Shehecheyanu moment for us as a virtual Seder. We come to the conclusion to Nirtzach. Please join me in reading. Our Seder now has ended with its history-laden rites. We have journeyed from Mitzrayim on this storied night of nights. We bore witness. We remembered our covenant with you. So we pray that you redeem us as you pledged your word to do. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, shana haba b'Yerushalayim, 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 l'shana haba b'Yerushalayim, shana haba b'Yerushalayim. We say next year in Jerusalem. We say next year in our homes with our families, with everyone we love. And we say next year together in our synagogue for our community Seder, where we can all be together, where we can hear each other sing, where our voices will be heard not only to the Holy One, not only to Elijah, but to each other. We wish you all a Chag Pesach Sameach, Zisen Pesach, sweet, safe, and holy. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. Chag Sameach. Maybe we can unmute everyone to do a Chag Sameach.
Anyone that wants to unmute, you
Chag
now
Sameach.
have-
Chag Sameach.
Yeah.
That was wonderful. Beautiful.
Wonderful.
There you go, you guys. See you
Chag
sometime.
Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Beautiful. Thank you for making this public. This was fantastic.
Thank you. Sameach, everybody.
Huh?
Thank you.
Sameach.
Nashville,
Tennessee.
I will discontinue our recording, but leave the room open for just another few minutes for people to say goodbye to each other. And we will see you all later.
Thanks for everything, Eileen.
Thank you, Eileen.
My pleasure.
When are we getting together again?
Everyone, hugs and
Well done. Well
When
done.
are we getting together again?
Hi, Carol Whitty. I see you. I see Cielo. Oh, behind.
There you go.
Nice butcher work.
Eileen, Nicole said you're a goddess.
I love the cats and dogs that you're right when you renamed yourself. I was like, oh, they're all in. They're ready.
Joanne, I love your hair.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone.
you.
Hug Sameach.